Well, hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday of the Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30 plus year video game enthusiast and industry analyst. And today, for September 8th, 2025, I'll run through the latest gaming news, what I've been playing, and stuff like that. So, hope you all are doing good. I still feel a little sleepy, even though I already, did my walk and all that and prepared for the day. But the weekend, yeah, let's go over the weekend stuff. What I've been playing. So actually, before we do that, real quick, and actually I could share my screen for this. We had the anime night last night and watched Mad Dog or Mad God. If you haven't heard of this, Mad Dog is actually a game. Mad God is this Phil Tippett movie that. So I'm a fan of a lot of movies that he's done special effects for, like RoboCop, Starship Troopers, even Jurassic Park, Empire Strikes Back, and I have the coffee table book of his work that's in the living room on the coffee table. Anyway, my brother suggested watching this, and I had never watched it. And I didn't even put two and two together. Actually, at first, said, "Oh, wait a minute! I have the coffee table book that has the making of this in it." And it was really neat to watch. And one of the members of the anime night was saying how they thought maybe this is something that's been worked on for a while, or worked on some of it before, has similar stuff to it. And yeah, actually, it was in production for over 30 years. So that's pretty neat. It's a lot of stop motion animation and all that stuff. It's really good. It was really cool to watch. It doesn't really have, I mean, it has a story to it, but there's no dialogue. So it's like a full movie where everything's all imagery, which is cool and all that. But yeah, really cool. Hey, shout out Ultronimus. Good to see you in there. Okay, let's move to what I've been playing. And so over the weekend, playing Split Fiction with the wife. Um, uh, still very basic game for me. It's something I wouldn't play on my own, even in co-op. It's okay. There's something I was realizing yesterday is a lot of the game is super basic for someone like me. So as I would be progressing through the game, I actually wouldn't be capturing in my mind the events of what I went through because I would be going through it so quick. The difference is, playing with my wife, we're, working together, helping her figure it out. So it's taking time to go through the areas. So I am kind of immersed more into the puzzles as we're playing them. And so, that just made me reflect on the different experiences people can have playing co-op games, or playing games in co-op where you're not doing everything yourself. I still, I enjoy spending, the time with my wife on the game. I still think the game is, I don't want to say nothing special. It is. It provides a co-op experience that is not found in many places. But I consider it like playing a Balatro or something. It's very specific to what it's for. And if you were to play Split Fiction as just a single player experience, it wouldn't be getting any praise. So it's just very interesting. Um, okay. Super Robot Wars Y. I wasn't too sure that I would get this just because of the price of everything and all the other games that have been coming out. I found it on sale for like $25, just the regular edition. But when I activated it in Steam, it was the deluxe. And so I got everything. So I don't know if that is making my time playing this more interesting and manageable, but I've been able to like upgrade a bunch of mechs, add part, and I don't know how much of that was DLC stuff. And even doing some maps, it even says like DLC, you play the map, and I think like if there's super robots in those maps that you're playing, once you beat them, you like get them as part of your team. I don't even have enough for a full team yet, but I've played a lot. I played 4 hours, 19 minutes. And here's what I'll say. It goes back to, if you like some of the IP in this, you might enjoy the cross dialogue, storytelling, and action scenes of the different Super Robot IP in Japan. But if you don't care about that stuff, then it would just be strictly like gameplay. And the gameplay is super basic. It really is a matter of go attack this enemy, choose which weapon. There's a difference between turn-based games in general. But when it comes to the Gundam or Gundam adjacent, you have the SDG generation strategy games, and then you have the Super Robot Wars. And I've explained this before, but I feel like it's a difference between Shining Force and Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem feels more like a Super Robot Wars, and Shining Force feels more like SDG generation. And in terms of like what the units mean or matter, like you in SDG generation, you might just have units that are there as grunt suits. But in the Super Robot Wars games, or like Fire Emblem, you have like it's almost like each unit is important that you want them to all survive. I don't know. It's also very basic gameplay because it's just turn-based. So a lot of what gets me when I'm playing video games is the hand-eye coordination, where I'm reaction time, stuff like that. There's none of that in this game. So I'm strictly playing it for a little fun strategy, even though I don't have to think too much. But then you get to see the animation's pretty neat from the different Super Robot War or Super Robot IPs, but also how it plays the music, which is pretty cool. Um, as you're playing, the different units that are then attacking will have their theme songs play. The maps have their own themes, and the music's usually good in these series anyway. Trying to get a bunch of Gundam units of what I can. I think they give you a handful of maps that you could choose at any given time, and I jumped to one that was related to Gundam, and so by playing it, it did give me some Gundam mobile suits to try. There's not much more else I can say about this. Although, again, with the DLC, I don't know if, and I'll have to check if it like gave me a bunch of extra credits and stuff. In fact, why don't we look at that right now together? Since I'm trying to figure it out anyway. Okay, so DLC, premium sound and data pack, which includes bunch of stuff, one bonus mission. But see, I wouldn't even know how I'm using this. The music. Is it where the music's automatically playing, or I have to go and select the premium music to play? And I guess I could click and find out. Could I? Let's see. No, it does not. Just 31 anime theme songs and sounds, 15 original music tracks. That's a lot for one pack. Quite a bit. Hey, Jim Cooks, good to see you. And then this bonus mission pack, which $9.99 does not seem like a lot. 15 side missions. Yeah, completing these missions will reward you with power parts. So that might be what I'm referencing when I'm talking about I have things I can upgrade with, and then one bonus mission. Okay, so that's a cool map. I haven't, with the colonies. But anyway, so I'll be playing some more. But again, this game, it's not like anything that really activates a lot in me when it comes to what I like about video games. It's a pretty basic game, but I think it's about the IP and all that. Oh, you can add your own music in the PC and PS5 versions. That's cool. I'm glad they have that in there. But I will say, I like the music. Oh, I'll try to say you usually have to pick to use the music. I think the PSP one is okay. I'll have to check because it is interesting that, for instance, I have the G Gundams early on. It plays the theme song of G Gundam. It plays the theme song of Seed. So it's playing, and of the older shows I don't know, but I'll have to check and see it. Did it add it automatically? Do I have to add it? Blah, blah, blah. All the music is good, by the way. So that's what a nice thing. You sit down, chill, play a game that you don't really have to think about too much in terms of hand-eye coordination, listen to cool music, watch cool robots. Yeah, so I'm playing this really for now until I think the next game comes in and just takes over. So who knows? All right, is that it? That's about it. Yeah, I didn't play too much. Really, that was about it. Okay, let's move on to some news. Console pricing has gone terribly wrong. This is an opinion piece. I want to see what they're getting at. Capcom's president has voiced what many in the industry feel: the lack of price cutting for console hardware is turning into a huge problem for mass market franchises, which it sounds interesting, right? Because does that mean that there's more consoles they could be selling to for more people to buy games from Capcom, even though they sell millions already? Or is this an example of when a certain sized corporation gets to a point where they are being pushed to try to make more money in whatever way possible? And maybe they're looking at the number of people in the market versus the number of sales on a console, and then the board or whatever's like, oh, there's more people, sell more. And then they're like, well, Sony or Microsoft has to push more consoles, but then we have PC, which anyone has. So let's see what they're going to say here. In an interview with Nikkei, Tuchimoto said that the company has found the high price of the PS5 to be a major hurdle for consumers, which has turned out to be a serious obstacle to trying to build out a mass market franchise like Monster Hunter. But it's crazy because didn't the new one come out and sell so good? That's what I'm curious about. Let's see. What's somewhat remarkable, though, is for such a direct criticism of Sony's hardware and services pricing strategies to be made openly in a media interview, not least an interview with Nikkei, which is guaranteed to be seen by senior leadership at Sony. Gaming hardware has never been cheap per se, and you can certainly make an argument that once you adjust for inflation, launch prices for new consoles are actually quite low these days. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I really want to get to some Monster Hunter is a hugely mass market game in Japan, and it got there essentially by appealing strongly to teenage players who had aged out of Pokemon and leaped on the leapt or leaped on the PSP versions of the game as something to play cooperatively with their friends. Interesting. Aged out of Pokemon and played the PSP version. So we're talking that's a little older now. Around the tail end of the 2000s, the phenomenon of Monster Hunter was unavoidable in Japan. Every mall food court in the country had at least one table of teenage boys. Oh, okay, playing PSPs. That's neat. But that still PSP. It's a long time ago. The game now has significant adult. Yeah, okay. So now they're getting into it. The adults that are playing. The soil now risks becoming entirely barren. What kind of metaphor is that? Game consoles holding their price year after year, even sometimes seeing price bumps late in their lifespan. The declining ubiquity of television is also a factor here. Many teens having a small TV in their bedroom. Okay, well, I think again, I'm not reading the whole thing, so I'm not really getting to what they're getting at. But if the truth is the next PlayStation is a handheld with a docking station, then I think they've solved the problem there. And it seems like that's what they're kind of getting at. It's just that the way that people use the hardware is changing. That's why Sony even said that they're going to get out of the hardware market once the PS6 handheld comes out. Okay, if today's kids and teens aren't engaging with PlayStation, it's very unlikely they'll start doing so. Okay, so I see what they're saying. It's not that people aren't buying anymore. It's just that the newer market of younger people getting into gaming now. It's like to choose to get a PlayStation doesn't make sense. It's like, well, not really anymore. So that's very interesting. But really, that's it. But it also doesn't make sense because Capcom could just find what other platform should they put Monster Hunter on. So again, I didn't read the entire thing, but it doesn't make sense. All right. Former Bethesda exec Pete Hines claims subscription services are undercutting developers. Now, you normally hear this by or from the bigger publishers that happen to have a game that failed or they're no longer there, because the smaller indie devs appreciate that this allows a highlight for their game that might normally get passed over very easily. So I find it very interesting that of all people to tell me this, it's Pete Hines. Hines says devs are being bundled into an ecosystem that doesn't value their work. Well, I mean, if you're with a, it's funny because you speak on devs as if they're their separate thing from the guy that commands the company that makes the game, right? When you're talking about games that they're made back in the day, old school, there's no separation. It's a group of people that have an idea for a game to make, and then they make it. And I think again, the way Pete is speaking, it's the devs that have a bad their work doesn't look viable. It's like he's passing not blaming devs, but passing the issue as if the devs are dealing with it to make the execs seem like it has nothing to do with them. And it has everything to do with the execs. I have an article I've been writing, and I haven't finished it yet, but I'm probably going to read it as a video. But it dives into this. It's like if you look back historically, once these video game companies have these executives that start making decisions, and they're not the developer, and they start being the mouthpiece, you start seeing the failings show up. So it's interesting. It's like these bigger publishers, became, I don't know what a good analogy is, but they're like, oh, look what they've got over there. I want to go do that. And then they just mess it all up, So it's interesting. Let's see. Ben Studio's next game appears to be another live service project. So I wanted to bring this up because I think it is strange if that's true. Over the past 6 years, the developers worked on multiple unannounced projects, all of which were subsequently canceled. That's what I've known. We discovered that Ben Studio is hiring for an unannounced AAA project they're working on. Interestingly, one of the requirements for the position mentions experience with multiplayer games. But that doesn't mean live service. So this person's article or this person's post, although, Ben Studio hiring for new multiplayer game following live service cancellation. You see how much I have to really look at the data before I'm sharing it? Because that makes sense. I think multiplayer and live service are different for lots of ways, although multiplayer only could be as bad as live service. It's funny because my brother and I were talking about live service, or in general, a multiplayer game, a co-op game that we could be playing. And, part of that discussion is, well, what's the intent of playing the game? Is it just for a reason, to hang out, which is one thing, or do we want a game that has some sort of persistence that we're actually getting time out of? And because there's so many ways that you could be playing a game, like like you brought up Payday, and Payday is one of those where it seems like it's cool, but you're just running these quick little ops, right? And when I'm thinking of something like Sniper Elite, that's not a live service game, but the multiplayer has this co-op where you can hang out in these big open world areas, sneak around, slowly plan out, taking out and then if you're done, you can just like kind of pause the game, return later. I feel like there's more of a persistence of more of a contextual reason to be coming back weekly, however often. I think it's interesting how I've always been down to play multiplayer games, but it was always hard for me to stick with them because I would just kind of get over it. I think I've always played multiplayer games. Halo games, I think, are the ones that I've played them. Halo and Call of Duty. Online first-person shooters, because you're kind of taking the gameplay of a single-player experience and you're just kind of doing it with others. And so I think that's why that was easy to get into. And I've tried MMOs. I've tried, and I don't even think for long. Let's see if I have any for World of Warcraft. Let's see. Nope, it's not even on here. So when I tried it, it must have been before a certain date. But anyway, what I'm saying, World of Warcraft is like, that gameplay is something that I wouldn't have fun doing for however long it takes to go through the adventure of that game. It's like with the Split Fiction I was talking about. Like Split Fiction, I guess it's fun to the effect that I'm playing with my wife, but the game itself is not anything interesting to me. So, but yeah, when it comes to multiplayer games, I want to kind of keep an ear out for something. But I feel like there's room to be more interesting with a multiplayer experience. Um, and I think we'll see that. I always bring up the Siphon Filter Omega Strain. There's still no game like that multiplayer game where there's a lot to do. Sometimes have to split up and all that. But then, yeah, when you're playing a multiplayer game, how much do people want to just chill and chat? Or how much do people actually want to work toward a goal or something? And the talking, the chatting that's happening is based on the game and not just chatting as friends. So I think there's a lot to that. Maybe I myself have to discover what I want to or how I want to do that. So, okay. What is this? Sorry, I found something weird. Okay. Um, I think next we're gonna check out something. There's a game coming out in October that it has a demo, and Cat's pushing me around. And I want to check it out. It's called Candy Rangers. It doesn't sound like something I'd be like, oh, well, that sounds cool. But the gameplay, I was reading the gameplay and it sounded pretty interesting. And look how quickly that started. Okay. Okay, do I need to invert? I probably don't. Oh, okay. Oh, it's the different colors. I see. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then what's this? All of them? So this does have mobile game vibes. What the? Wait. Okay, Wait, wrong button. Okay, hold up. Oh, jump. Okay. Oh, a double jump. All right. Yeah, this is very mobile game like. Let's play some more though. I don't want to discount it. Though I don't know what's going on. Okay. Okay. It's pretty cozy. I gotta say, this is probably a cozy game. Wait, wrong button? What? Oh, okay, so some of them you could do multiples. Interesting. Yeah, there we go. I get this. Pretty chill. Oh. Like this. Sometimes I'm not hitting them, but okay. Interesting. Okay, well, yeah, I gotta say, not much to actually say with this. I mean, this is kind of a basic game. It's fun. It's cool. Okay. Menu. Menu. How do I get out of here? How do I get out of here? There's no way. There's no way. I'm stuck in this world. I'll have to do this. Okay, so again, that was pretty cool. That kind of had more of a um let's see. It comes out October 2025. It has more of a mobile game feel to it, but I don't know how much of that is just early in the game. It's just the stuff to set you up. And then maybe as the game goes, it gets a little more interesting. Um I don't know. I'm glad I tried it. Don't have much I could say right now. Yeah, there's not a price for it anywhere. So, um, let's see the developer, Meccano, Meccano. Just this is their first game. That's pretty good game for first game. Publisher, Farlands. That's neat. That looks like one of those survival games. Wings of Endless. Heard of that? Okay, I might need to click into that a little more. Kimono Heroes. That looks pretty cool. That's a 2025 release, huh? 2025 Destina. It's like a horse dating sim. Uh okay. Some of these seem pretty cool actually. Now this I want to say did I play a demo? I think I played a demo of this and it was pretty cool. It looks great. Yeah, I do remember with the ice and all that. At least I think. So many games, they all kind of blend together. Though I think I would have added it to my wish list. I am going to add it because that looks like something I could play later. There was something else I saw in here. This Kimono Heroes. This also looks pretty neat. Is this something I played before? Or is it a remake? No. But it looks cool. I'm going to add this to my wish list. I just like the kind of the fast-paced ninja style action going on with the. But it's funny because I'm like, I've probably played this before. Obviously haven't, but like, I wonder how many games come out that are just all, kind of similar, even though they might play differently. That does look cool. Okay, let's see. Developer Mad Gear Games. That's their first game. Let's see the publisher. Oh yeah, obviously, same publisher. That looks pretty neat. Kimono Heroes. Actually, let's look at the reviews. They're mostly positive, or they're not mostly positive. They are positive. There's only 25 reviews. Yeah, sorry, allergies kind of bugging me. This game is a love letter to every good platformer on the SNES. All in a beautiful creative pixel art package. Yeah, that's cool. I'm not really seeing any negative. Let's see. Huh, no negative reviews? Is that true? I mean, there's not a lot, but that's cool that the people that are playing it are liking it. So I might need to check this out. Well, I think that just about does it. That was kind of a chill Mondays, not much news. I wonder why. Does it have to do with like Silk Song coming out? So a lot of games moved when they would release. I don't know. Even with the gaming I was doing over the weekend was pretty chill. I wasn't really jumping into anything, but that's probably going to change soon. So anyway, I'm going to head out. That was a lot of fun. I'll be back tomorrow with some more news. But until then, have a good one. See you.